Before I say anything else, we are confirmed for season 2. I genuinely stood up in my apartment and cheered when I saw that news. I am so happy. And of course, I'm drinking ginger ale to celebrate. I need it to be the exact same cast and crew. Every single person, exactly the same, except triple the budget. But hey guys, welcome back. Today we're here to talk about episode 4 of Heated Rivalry. Thank you guys so much for the love on my last video. I was really blown away. That is the most views I've ever gotten on a YouTube video, and it was just so fun, like, seeing everybody's excitement about the show. I loved responding to everybody's comments. Again, please sound off in the comments. Let's talk about episode 4 or any other part of the show, honestly. I loved responding to all the comments. It was so much fun. This week leading up to episode 4 was genuinely the longest week of my life. Especially Wednesday and Thursday, I was climbing the walls. I don't know how I'm gonna wait like a year for season 2, and it better come out in 2026. If I see a 2027 release, I'm gonna flip out. So last video I did was a little bit more all over the place because I was talking about 3 episodes and the show as a whole, but for this one, since it's just 1 episode, I'm gonna go chronologically through the episode and just talk about all the thoughts I had while I was watching. And there's a lot. I think I had a thought for literally every second of this episode, so buckle up. First of all, I literally screamed when I saw Shane wearing his glasses. I have to say, I think the Skype scene is gonna get cut. I know it's kind of an iconic scene from the book, but it just seems like they're not gonna have enough time to do it. I could be wrong, but even though it is like a good scene and it's pretty iconic, I just think it's not that important compared to other scenes, so I feel like it might get cut. And that's why I'm glad they still showed him with his glasses, just in case we don't get the Skype scene. I was so happy to see him in his little glasses. The montage of them skating together and then fucking, oh my god, that was literally insane. Like getting slammed into the boards and then being face down in the mattress. I am not ashamed to admit that I pressed rewind quite a few times. The rewind 30-second button saw me. That scene. It saw me. This is kind of random. This is more of a thought I have about the show in general, but I forgot to mention it in my last video, is I really like that they curse, and it could just be because I curse a lot, so that's why I like it, but I think it's also a big part of why the characters feel realistic, because to me that's realistic dialogue. Like if you were talking to like your friend or your situationship or whatever, you're probably gonna curse, and I just think it adds that realism element to the show, and I really like that, and it's funny. Shane being naked or in a wet t-shirt for every ad is so real. I know the marketing girlies on those campaigns were giggling to themselves when they got that okayed. Okay, wait, I wrote this down because I also rewatched episode 3 a couple times, of course. Oh, since my last video too, I also have read Game Changer. So now I have the full Scott and Kip lore. Kip is giving Anastasia Steele in 50 Shades when she's like, "You can't just lock me in your penthouse, Christian. I love to work." Let's be for real. You will never catch me talking like that. If you ever catch me talking like that, I've been body snatched. Any rich hot man can lock me in his penthouse whenever he wants. Rich hot man that's in love with me and treats me well. Yes, I will be locked in your penthouse. Like, hello? I get it, but it's like, come on. Okay, on the topic of like side characters, this was a really Hayden heavy episode. For some reason, I just didn't think we would really see Hayden that much in the TV show. I mean, it makes sense because he is Shane's best friend, but I just figured because we're working with such limited screen time that he wouldn't really be featured that much. So I was surprised to have him as such like a heavy focus. I also felt like the aquarium scene was weirdly long. Maybe it was just me. I get why they did it because it's like Hayden's trying to set him up with girls and like to establish that dynamic even more. But I don't know, it just felt really long to me. I was like, okay, like felt like this could have been quicker. Also, this doesn't happen, I don't think, until the long game, so probably season 2. But I can't wait to see Ilya and Hayden interact and their beef. It's gonna be so funny. Also, Shane literally winning the Stanley Cup, being in the locker room surrounded by his teammates, champagne's flowing, his teammates are yelling, there's Gatorade. I don't remember if there was Gatorade. This huge celebration, and he's texting Ilya, "They're in love, Your Honor." As much as I truly love this show, one of the best things about this show is going online after watching it and seeing what everyone has to say and seeing everyone's memes and reactions. People are so funny. I saw someone saying that the way Shane is standing when he's in the hotel room about to go to Ilya's house talking to Hayden, and he has like that little stance They were like, that outs him more than anything else in the show. Like, they were like, he's standing like a bottom. Like, he's standing like a gay man. And then in the comments, someone put that picture of Cam from Modern Family. I was genuinely crying laughing. I had tears in my eye looking at the side by side of Shane and Cam. So hysterical and so true. And then we see Shane going for a ride. Literally, like, I jumped back. I was like, oh my god. I could never be an actor because I was watching that scene and I was like, how are they doing that? First of all, it looks real. Like, I'm like, how are you actually not having sex right now? I know it's movie magic or whatever and they have their ways, but I was like, your private parts have to be touching right now. Like, that is insane. And then you think about how there's probably like a 50-person crew behind them. Oh my god. And then Ilya rolls over and his chain is dangling. I was having Connell Waldron flashbacks. Also, the way that Ilya pats the bed after, he's like, the way I would have jumped if I was in the other room. There would have been a cartoon outline indentation of my body through the bedroom wall. There would have been smoke behind me. I just wrote down, Shane has huge tits. And period. Also, okay, this is literally so minor and I'm being nitpicky, but I didn't like that they took out the, like, first line when Ilya gives Shane the ginger ale and Shane's like, ginger ale? How do you know I like ginger ale? It just goes right to, like, is it cold enough? I think there's another line in the book before that. I could be wrong. Then Ilya gets a Coke and Shane is like, oh, well, I guess I did know that Coke is also his favorite drink. Like, we've noticed things about each other over the years. Literally so dumb. I just wanted that as, like, a highlight more. And they do mention ginger ale 800 times in the show, so I get what they were doing, but I don't know. I wanted, like, a little bit more, like, intention with that, I guess. It's also so cute when they're talking on the couch because it really feels like a first date. They're so cutely awkward and just like making small talk, and it's like, you guys have been hooking up for 10 years. You've never had a conversation before. Like, you guys have talked before. Like, why are you being so weird? But it just gave such first date energy. I thought it was so cute. And Ilya watching Shane eat the tuna melt and smiling. Everyone just has to read the books because the show's obviously amazing, but there are some things that I feel like you don't fully get, like, the depth of just from watching the show. In the book, Ilya plotted this. It wasn't like, oh, you know, spur of the moment, like, I'm just gonna ask him, like, if he wants to stay. No, Ilya was like, I'm gonna ask Shane to stay. I'm gonna make him a tuna melt. I bought ginger ale. He was plotting and scheming. Also, another example of Ilya yearning that we get in the book is, in the book, Shane's condo isn't where he lives. Like, he has his condo investment property and that's where him and Ilya hook up, but that's not where he lives. He has an actual apartment that Ilya doesn't go to for a long time, and he daydreams about what Shane's apartment looks like, and he's picturing what kind of furniture he's gonna have, what his headboard's gonna look like, what color his sheets are, if he has pictures of his parents in his room. He literally spends years wondering about what Shane's room looks like because he's never been allowed to see it. He's never been let into that intimate space of his actual house. Are we kidding? Once again, I need everyone to go on an apology tour to my good personal friend Ilya. Thank you. And then the whole conversation on the couch when he's talking about Svetlana and he's like, I like girls, do you like girls? He's so clearly trying to come out and tell Shane that he's bi and be like, Shane, do you like girls or no? Like, hello. And Shane is just like, shuts down and is like, of course I do, of course I do. He's trying, guys. Please. He's my friend. Also, again, Hudson's micro expressions that he does. His acting is so subtle, but in the best way. Like, you can see so many emotions playing out on his face when he's like barely even doing anything. And his reaction to Ilya talking about Svetlana, like, he obviously doesn't get what Ilya is trying to do with this conversation at all. It makes me so sad that my sweet angel baby Ilya has to deal with having a sick father. It just breaks my heart. It's so sad. And his asshole brother, I can't. And the way he shakes himself out and fixes his necklace before he goes back to hanging out with Shane. In the book, Ilya tells Shane about his dad, which I thought was during this part, like the tuna melt part. I guess I'm wrong, or maybe they took it out, but I kept waiting for him to open up about his dad and he didn't. So I don't know if I'm just misremembering or if they just changed it for the show, but I was waiting to hear that and I was sad that he didn't get to open up to him about that. But maybe it'll just come later. I don't know. Another like random tangent I wrote down is that You guys need to stop making One Direction edits to this TV show because I can't handle it. Perfect. They Don't Know About Us. Oh, I know they were playing out of They Don't Know About Us when that song came out because the timelines match up. Temporary Fix, Fool's Gold, 18. I wonder why One Direction has so many songs about secret relationships. Weird. Do you guys think Shane and Ilya shipped Larry? Because I bet you they did. I wish you guys could have seen my reaction to Shane literally just putting his head on Ilya's chest and Ilya playing with his hair. You would think I was watching, I don't even know. My reaction to that little moment of affection, I was actually beside myself. I need to watch this show in a padded room. Oh my god. When they called each other by their first names, I had such a visceral Call Me By Your Name flashback. I literally went like this. Oh, to see without my eyes. Something you guys need to know about me. Something you guys need to know about me. I have a Call Me By Your Name ass tattoo. And I'm being dead serious when I tell you that. I have a Call Me By Your Name ass tattoo matching with one of my besties. So that might give you a little insight to my reaction to that scene and what this says about me as a person, my lore. Yes, anyway. If they had genuinely said each other's names, you would have never heard from me again. Okay, my light died and I can't plug it in because the plug is too far away, but I kind of feel like it's okay. Sorry if it doesn't. I just really don't want to pause and have to plug it back in and wait for it to charge. So sorry about that. Anyway, where were we? And then Shane immediately freaking out because they actually have like an intimate moment and they're connecting on a real level. And he freaks out, which is such a good parallel to when that happens after they hook up at Shane's house for the first time and Shane kisses him on the forehead and Ilya freaks out and leaves. But it was just so sad. And you can tell Ilya knows why he's freaking out. And just his face and the way he says, Hollander, Hollander. He says so much without saying anything. One thing I did notice though, Connor's accent is so good in this entire show, but when he says go, it was American. Like there was a no accent. It was the only time in the entire show I feel like he slipped up, but it just stood out to me. Also, I didn't even notice this, but people on TikTok were pointing out that Shane picks up Ilya's clothes, which just made me laugh because he's showing up to the hotel room in a completely different men's outfit. Like, yeah, that's not suspicious at all. And then I was thinking about how that means that Shane left his clothes at Ilya's house, and I was imagining like Ilya smelling his clothes and being sad and missing him. Count your days, Crave Canada. Shane's dinner with his parents and his mom is like, I don't want you to lie, you're not a liar. Awkward. And then she's like, oh no, you should go to Wimbledon, there's gonna be a prince, or I mean princess. Mama, he wants the prince. Who doesn't care about no Swedish princess? I want to shout out this show for not having Netflix lighting. I am Netflix lighting's biggest hater, and I'm very happy that this show does not have that. Now we're really getting into the meat and potatoes of this episode. Rose. First of all, I know Shane's heart was beating when that hot bartender was flirting with him. And you know what? I like Rose a lot, and I better not see people hating on her because she's a real one and she's cool and fun and I like her. And it's not her fault that her little boyfriend is gay. Like, it's not. And they're cute. Like when she had his hand on his thigh and they were like holding hands, that was really cute. I'm just saying, in another life, under different circumstances, they would have been cute. Someone said that Shane queened out with Rose and thought he was in love, and I laughed about that for actually 20 minutes. That is so funny. Also, apparently Rosanov means rose in Russian. This fandom is a prison. Ilya having to find out about Shane and Rose from paparazzi pictures that his teammates show him actually makes me feel sick. Obviously the teammates don't know, but it's just so sad. Like, to have Shane freak out, leave, presumably not speak to him for God knows how long, months, and then to see those paparazzi pictures. Also, new vocal stem unlocked. I stubbed my toe. And also, tell people. That had me cracking up. And then before their game together, Shane picks up his phone and goes to his text messages with Ilya, but then doesn't send one. And the difference between the beginning of the episode, when Ilya shoves him against the glass in the game and he's like smiling and laughing about it, when he does it after Shane is with Rose, and he meant that one. He was mad as hell. I also saw this really good tweet, I'll put it on the screen, about how Ilya isn't necessarily just jealous of Rose. I mean, he definitely is, but he's also jealous that Rose is allowed to go to to his game and put on his jersey and get photographed with him and go on dates with him and like be out with him. And that's not possible for them. And they don't know if it'll ever be possible for them. As soon as they started talking about going to the club, I started smiling like the Grinch. I started giggling. I was rubbing my hands together like an evil fly. I was so excited. We need to talk about the symbolism of Shane's drinking and the ginger ale, because you very rarely, if ever, see Shane drinking throughout the show, except when he's with Rose, because he's pushing it down and praying, and he needs alcohol when he's with her to loosen up because he's hiding his true self. And the entire episode, you see him try and get ginger ale multiple times and never gets it. The only time he gets the ginger ale is when he's at Ilya's house, and he doesn't even have to ask for it. Ilya just has it. But the entire club scene was so well done. I am obsessed. Genuinely. I was hyperventilating when Ilya's at the bar and he turns and sees Miles, because Miles is like giving him a flirty, like, you see Ilya just like start to smile at first, but then he recognizes Miles, and immediately the way he turns around and starts scanning the club for Shane, that shot, like the way it's so smooth and you just like see his face change and you see him start to look around, that is cinematography. That's directing. That is camera work. It was so good. And then the same thing happens right after when Shane is dancing with Rose and he sees Ilya's teammate, and then Shane immediately starts looking around the club for Ilya. Like, oh, it was so good. I wish I had recorded my reactions to the last 10 minutes of this episode, because you would think I was watching a horror movie. Like, I was like this. It was so, like, I had full body reactions. I'm a very dramatic person. I love to exaggerate. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you I was heavy breathing, freaking out, biting my fingernails, like doing this. This show just unearthed something in me. Miles dancing with Shane and Rose. I have never been so gagged in my entire life. That's a Renaissance painting. But also, if I was Rose, I'd be like, why are you dancing on my boyfriend like that? Like, back up, dude. I know it's for the sake of the show, but it was just making me laugh. This was the most party on you, party on you, party on scene I've ever seen in my life. I love scenes like that. I could not wait to get on TikTok and see Party For You edits. Oh my god. And then the song changing from a woman singing until Shane sees Ilya and then it switches to a man singing. There are geniuses working on this show. Genuinely, how do they do it? Wait, I'm cracking up looking at my notes. I take notes while I watch the episodes so that I don't forget what I want to talk about, and I can make like a little script-ish for myself when I do these. But I use voice to text because it's easier than having to type everything out. This is my direct quote from when I was watching the club scene. No, I actually feel sick, like it's not funny. I'm sick to my stomach. I'm not okay. I'm so not okay. Shane's face, oh my god. It's that serious. By the way, in the books, Shane drives home from the club alone and is crying so hard he has to pull over. Fun fact. Yep. He is so distraught at the sight of Ilya at the club and so confused that he has to pull over because he's crying so hard. Something that I just can't be okay with. Oh my god. And the very last scene of the episode where it's flashing between Ilya in the shower and Shane and Rose, and they're staring down the camera and it's flashing back and forth, music is playing, and then it fades out and you just hear Shane moaning. Sick, evil, twisted. Also, when they were staring at the camera, I was like, me? Why are you looking at me? It's not my fault. Also, there's been 4 episodes and no sweetheart. So, what's up with that? I'm waiting. Overall, incredible episode. They have yet to disappoint me. It's just the best show ever. I'm really excited for the next 2 episodes. I'm kind of concerned though, because I feel like a lot has to happen in the next episode, because the last episode is called The Cottage, which leads me to believe that pretty much the whole episode will be them at the cottage, which I like. I think we need to spend that time with them at the cottage. I'm so happy that that is a full episode if that's what they're doing. But because of that, it just means that they have a lot to fit into next week's episode, because we have to wrap things up with Rose. We have to see Scott and Kip, because that's before the cottage. That's, I'm assuming, going to be the very end of the episode, but I'm curious how much screen time they are going to give to Scott and Kip in the next episode to wrap up their storyline. We have to see Ilya go back to Russia and what all happens there, and the phone call they have when he's in Russia. We have to see the All-Star weekend in Florida, and we have to see the accident. So that just seems like a lot of things to put into one episode. We have a lot of work to do. I also saw people saying that they could be re-editing the show. And originally they were gonna have it end at the cottage and do book 1 is season 1 in case they didn't get a season 2, and now because it's so popular they're gonna drag it out and make it so that the cottage is the next season. I will hate that. I'm sorry, I will be so mad. I also think it's kind of crazy to like re-edit half of a TV show like as it's coming out. I don't know if things like that are normal, but that does seem a little bit crazy to me. I don't know if they would do that. I'm torn. Like, it does make sense because the show is so popular and I'm more popular than they probably ever thought, but it just seems crazy to me that they would re-edit like half the season. I don't know. And also, I will be so upset if we don't see that damn cottage. Why mess with the timeline like that? Because then season 2 is going to be like all messed up and there's going to have to be this big time jump. Like, what they're going to do season 2 episode 1 is the cottage and then they're going to have this huge time jump. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like it makes sense to just keep season 1 book 1, keep season 2 book 2, and go from there. Like, don't play with me, okay? I need to see this cottage. I will not be happy. Oh, also, Ryan Price mentioned, so I wonder if they're gonna do a Ryan episode like they did a Scott episode next season. That would be fun. And I wonder if they're gonna just keep it to mostly Shane and Ilya, or if they're gonna expand it after that and do even more seasons. Basically, I'm excited to see what we have in store for us coming up. I loved the episode. Again, please comment all the thoughts you have on anything of the season, the books, the show, anything. I love talking to you guys in the comments about this show. It's so much fun. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week for episode 5.